Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, 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 Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session. Today's Monday. We will be memorizing a new Bhagavad Gita shloka, a new shloka from Bhagavad Gita. The last one that we memorized was 13:21. So let me see what's the next memorization verse. 1322. The next one is 1322. Okay. So I'll just open it in the book. Okay. Please repeat after me. Purushah prakritisto hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. Purushah prakritisto hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam guna sangosya सदसद्योनि जन्मसु पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्योनि जन्मसु. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. So the last verse was what? Nature is the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments. Right? So this is the next verse. The living entity in material nature, the living entity in material nature follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. So why the living entity is suffering and enjoying? Because of his association with material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. So because of his association, he takes birth in various species, association with material nature. And when he takes birth in different species, according to that species, he meets with good and evil, like that. So please recite now. If anyone needs to go first, please raise your hand. Aditi Lata Mataji, Arunita, then Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhonte Prakriti Jangunan Karanam Guna Sangosya Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Arunta will read little later, Mataji.
Okay. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Purushaha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakritijan gunan karanam guna sangasya sad asad yoni janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else need to go first? So let's just read in order. Inba, Inya. Jai Shri Mataji, Jai Ganesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Masterji.
Hare Krishna.
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is...
You're not able to see. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species.
Yeah. Inba,
Mataji, they'll all read at the end.
they'll read at the end. Okay. Isha,
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गस्य सदसद्योनिजन्मसु. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species.
Krishnashish,
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गस्य सदसद्योनिजन्मसु. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species.
Madhava,
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गस्य सदसद्योनिजन्मसु. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species.
Rasapriya,
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गस्य सदसद्योनिजन्मसु. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species.
yes. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Narsimha Leela Chaitan Prabhu. Not ready?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Are you able to hear me, Mataji?
Yes, yes, I can hear.
Sarveshri.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
पुरुषः प्रकृते स्थितो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदा सद्योनि जन्मसु.
Sad Asad. Sad Asad.
Sad asad yoni janmasu. Translation. Divine grace of Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with the good and evil among various species. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Surat.
Can you scroll?
Oh, sorry.
Purusha prakritisto hi bhukte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadhasadyo nijanmasu. Translation. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Hare Krishna Mataji,
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Purusha prakritisto hi bhukte praktijan gunan karanam gunasangotya sadhasadyo. Translation. The living entity in this material nature thus follows the way of life, enjoying three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species.
Hare Krishna.
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गस्य सदसद्योनिजन्मसु. Translation. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with the good and the evil among various species.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, so next, Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Sangosh to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhukte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Gunasangosya Sat Asad Yoni Janmashu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Prajna is there?
Yes, Mataji. Prajna, take the phone.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Purusha prakriti stosti bhukte prakriti jangunan karanam guna sangosya sadhasadyoni janmasu. Translation. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets good and evil among various species. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Purusha prakriti stohi bhukte prakriti jan gunan kartam guna sangosya karanam guna sangosya sadasad yogni janmasu. Translation. The living entity in material nature that follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Inba, Jai Shri Mataji and Jai Ganesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Purusha prakritisto hi bhukte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangyosya sad asad yoni janmasu. Translation. The living entity in material nature thus follows the way of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species.
Yes. Mataji Prabhuji are there?
No Mataji.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 22. Who remembers the title of the chapter? The dynasty of Ajamida, or the
Ajamida.
descendants of, yeah. Mhm.
Sorry,
Okay.
my phone was away. I couldn't read there.
Oh, okay. No problem. So, recapping is difficult. All the names and the descendants, but we'll try. The descendants of Ajamida. Okay, let's see. So we came up to Hasti. Okay, Hasti had 3 sons: Ajamida, Dvimida, and Puromida. And then Ajamida had a son, Brihadishu, and we read the descendants coming down from Brihadishu. Then Ajamida had another son called Nila, and we read about the descendants coming from Nila. So in the descendants coming down from Brihadishu, we read about Vishwaksena. And Vishwaksena, he actually taught some mystic yoga, the mystic yoga process he taught. Then Nila. So in the descendants of Nila, we read about one personality called Bharmyashva. Okay, Bharmyashva. This Bharmyashva had 5 sons, headed by Mudgala. And all 5 became the rulers of Panchala. Okay. Then Mudgala had twins, one boy and a girl. The girl is Ahalya. And then we read about Ahalya's descendants. Ahalya was married to Gautam Muni, and their son was, who remembers? Son of Ahalya and Gautam Muni. Shatananda. Shatananda had a son, and his son had another son, Sharadvan. Sharadvan had twins. When he saw Urvashi, there was a discharge of semen, and twins were born. That's Kripa and Kripi, Kripacharya and Kripi. Kripi is married to Dronacharya, like that. Then, what about the boy? Mudgala had a boy and a girl, right? The girl is Ahalya. The boy is Divodasa. So that's all we read about Ahalya's dynasty. I mean, from Ahalya, the descendants. And also we read that the third, again, Hasti's sons are Ajamida, Dvimida, and Puromida. Puromida had no sons. Like that, that chapter ended, 21. And 22, chapter 22 is entitled The Descendants of Ajamida. So now we are picking up from Divodasa, Mudgala's son Divodasa, and we started reading about his descendants. So what did we read about Divodasa? Anyone remembers anything at all? If we don't remember, then we'll just read, no problem. So Divodasa had one son, Mitrayu. Mitrayu had 4 sons. Okay. And one of them is Somaka. So the 4 sons are Chavana, Sudasa, Sahadeva, and Somaka. Chavana, Sudasa, Sahadeva, and Somaka. Somaka had 100 sons, and the last one is called Prishata. Prishata's son is Drupada. Drupada from Panchala in Mahabharata, same Drupada. Drupada had a daughter Draupadi and a son Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna's son is Drishtaketu. So that's that line of Ajamida coming through Somaka. He had 3 other sons who Mitrayu. Mitrayu is the son of Divodasa. Okay. If you're able to remember, well and good. I'm just repeating. If you're able, when I'm reading it and when I'm repeating it, if you're able to recollect, it's good. If you're not able to recollect, it's okay. Just listen. Okay. So, Divodasa, he had 4 grandsons. So, we read about Somaka. From Somaka, Drupad Maharaj came and his descendants. Then we have Chavana, Sudasa, and Sahadeva. We'll read about that later. But Ajamida, we read about Ajamida's one son is Brihadishu, then another son is Nila. Now we are reading about the third son called Riksha. Riksha's son is Samvarana. Samvarana was married to the daughter of son called Tapati, and they had a son called Kuru. Kuru, right? From him comes Kuru Vamsa. Kuru. So, Riksha's son is Samvarana. Samvarana married the sun god's daughter, Tapati, and they had a son called Kuru, who is the king of Kurukshetra. Now we'll read about Kuru's descendants. Kuru had 5 sons. He also had 4 sons. Okay, Kuru had 4 sons: Parikshi, Sudhanu, Jannu, and Nishada. Parikshi, Sudhanu, Jannu, and Nishada. So we started with Sudhanu. Sudhanu had a son called Suhotra. Suhotra had a son called Chavana, and Chavana had a son called Kriti. Kriti had a son called Uparichara Vasu. Now, Uparichara Vasu had several sons, headed by Brihadratha. That's a big name, Brihadratha. Uparichara Vasu's son, Brihadratha. And then others also. He had Kushamba, Matsya, like that. But an important name is Brihadratha. All the sons of Uparichara Vasu, including Brihadratha, they all became rulers of Chedi, of the state Chedi. Now, one line coming from Brihadratha is Kushagra, then Rishabha, then Satyahita, then Pushpavan, and then Jahu. And there's another line coming from Brihadratha through his wife, through another wife. The name is not given. And from that, Brihadratha got from another wife, he got Jarasandha. Okay. So Brihadratha is the father of Jarasandha. And who is Brihadratha? The son of Uparichara Vasu. Okay. So we saw about Chedi, means Shishupal. So Brihadratha included, right? All of them became the rulers of Chedi. Uparichara Vasu's sons became the rulers of Chedi. That means even including Brihadratha, Kushama, everyone. Matsya, Pratyagra, Chedipa. They all became the rulers of Chedi state. And Brihadratha is also the father of Jarasandha. Okay. What else did we read? Okay. Then Jarasandha's son is Sahadev, and then like that line also we read. Then, oh, actually we have to continue this line. No, that line is finished there, Suratha. Okay, from Jarasandha came Sahadev, from Sahadev Somapi, from Somapi Shrutashrava. That is done. So all these are descendants coming from Kuru's son called Sudhanu. Remember? So Kuru had 3 other sons, Parikshi and Suratha and Nishadha. Not Suratha. What was the other name? Parikshi, Sudhanu, Nishadha, and the 4th one is called
Dhanu, 4th one we read, right?
Sudhanu. Then Jannu, correct. Jannu. Thank you, Mataji. 4 sons. Parikshi, Sudhanu, Nishadha, Jannu, and Nishadha. So first we read about Sudhanu, right? So then now we are seeing about Parikshi. The son of a Kuru called Parikshi had no sons. Then Jannu had a son named Suratha. So this is Jannu. So who is remaining? Nishadha is remaining. We still didn't read about Nishadha. We also read about Jannu. We came up to, so this Jannu's descendant is our Shantanu Maharaj. So after this whole line, Jannu son Suratha, then Vidurathas, Sarvabhauma, Jayasena, Radhika, Ayatayu, then Akrodhana, Devatithi, Riksha, Dilipa and Pratipa. Pratipa is the father of Shantanu Maharaj. Who is Shantanu Maharaj? He is the father of Vichitravirya and Chitrangada. And Vichitravirya is the father of Dhritarashtra, Pandu. And Dhritarashtra is the father of Duryodhana and brothers, who are known as Kauravas. Pandu Maharaj is the father of the Pandavas. Like this. So this is the line of Kurus. Yes.
Mataji, they would also come in the Shantanu, under Shantanu Maharaj, right, Mataji? Because he was
Who?
Bhishmadev.
Of course, but Bhishmadev also will come under Shantanu Maharaj. But Bhishmadev didn't continue, right? He took a vow of celibacy. Because we are reading the descendants, but yeah, certainly Bhishmadev is also after Shantanu Maharaj. But then there's no one after him. So therefore, I only counted Vichitravirya and Chitrangada. But yes, you're right, Bhishmadev, certainly. In fact, first Bhishmadev and then Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Thank you. So Bhishmadev is born of Ganga Devi and Vichitravirya, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya from Satyavati. So one more time, just the Kuru, from Kuru. Ajamida's son Riksha, Riksha's son Samvarna, Samvarna married to the daughter of sun god called Tapati, and their son is Kuru, the great Kuru, king of Kurukshetra. Kuru had 4 sons, Parikshi, Sudhanu, Nishadha, Jannu. Okay, so then we started reading about Sudhanu, and in Sudhanu's descendants, we came to Uparichara Vasu. Okay, Uparichara Vasu, one of the descendants, like in the line in that dynasty, will be Uparichara Vasu. Uparichara Vasu had several sons headed by Brihadratha. All of them became the rulers of Chedi. So in Mahabharata, we see Shishupal is Chedi Raj. So that means Shishupal is coming in the line of Uparichara Vasu, one of the sons, right? And Brihadratha is the father of Jarasan. And from another wife, he had other sons also. And then there's a dynasty. This is Brihadratha. So these were the descendants we were reading from Sudhanu. Mainly remember Jarasandha is coming and Shishupal. Next is Parikshi, he had no sons. Then we read about Janu. So in the line of Janu, there is Dilipa, Pratipa, and Pratipa's sons are, who remembers? 3 sons of Pratipa. Devapi, Shantanu,
Balika.
very good, Bahlika, correct. Devapi, Shantanu, Bahlika. Devapi was the eldest son, but he left home. So yesterday, Mataji had asked, why did he leave home? That's not mentioned here, but I just did a little bit of search, and it is said that out of his own accord he left. So there also there's not much detail given. So he left out of his own accord. So the eldest son is supposed to become the king, but he left home. So then the next, Shantanu Maharaj took the kingdom after the father passed away, but there was a transgression. The elder brother is still living, and the younger brother has taken the kingdom. So therefore there was a drought. And after 12 years passed without any rains, Shantanu Maharaj asked his advisors, his priests, counselors, what's going on? Why there's no rain? Then he was told, because you have taken the kingdom while your elder brother is still there, this is counted as a, as it is counted as usurping your elder brother's property. So for this you're getting a punishment. So king's punishment is suffered by the citizens also. So there's no rains, there's drought. Then how I can overcome this situation? You call Devapi, give his kingdom back. But before Shantanu Maharaj could go, one of his ministers, I forget his name, the name is given, he actually went to Devapi and spoke in such a way, or the priest, he sent some Brahmanas to Devapi, and they talked with Devapi in such a way that he became against Vedic principles. He didn't believe in Vedic principles. Now Shantanu Maharaj approached Devapi to ask him to come back, take the kingdom, because you are the eldest son and it is your duty to come and rule. If you don't rule, the citizens are suffering from a drought. So when Shantanu Maharaj said it is your dharma, and Devapi was already, dimag phir gaya tha, right? His mind was already twisted. So he said, I'm not coming. Don't talk to me about dharma. By the way, and he started blaspheming the Vedas and Vedic principles. So by that, it became an offense on the part of Devapi. And because of that offense, he fell down. He was blaspheming the Vedas. So he fell down from his position. So now he's not fit to become the king. Under the circumstances, now Shantanu Maharaj once again assumed the kingdom as the king. And Lord Indra, who had withheld the rains all these years, was happy to shower rains, because now the eligible king was Shantanu. So that's where we stopped yesterday. There's one more point we read about Devapi. Does anyone remember? What did Devapi do after
He's
this?
still living. He performed mystic yoga and
Very
he's
good.
still.
Correct. Yes, thank you, Mataji. So after this, in order to control his mind and senses, Devapi performed mystic yoga. And by the power of that yoga, mystic yoga, he's still living even today. Where is he living? In a village called Kalapagram. And what is he going to do in future? That we'll read in the next verse. But I had said yesterday, because We'll read further now. We only stopped at Shantanu Maharaj. We will read about his descendants also. Not only the descendants that have appeared until then. So this is the conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So he will come up to Parikshit Maharaj. Not only that, he will talk about the future kings also that are going to come in the Moon dynasty. But at one point, all the kings will be finished. No more Moon dynasty. Because in Kali Yuga, there's no more Kshatriyas. Even if there are, they're somewhere like Devapi, for example. He's there, but he's not active, right? He's there, in a, hidden way, you can say, right? Not exhibiting his powers. There are some, but they're not actually active. Then who is ruling if there's no Kshatriyas? The Shudras are ruling. They're ruling. So no more Kshatriyas. So Devapi is waiting. After this Kali Yuga, when Satya Yuga starts, now Devapi will continue. He will continue the Moon dynasty, or he will restart the Moon dynasty, which was broken, right? Now he will continue the Moon dynasty. That is his contribution. So we will continue to read now. Do you remember who read last yesterday? Neelambari Radha
Nilambri
Mataji.
Mataji, I think.
Okay, so you should read now. Your Narsimhalila Chetan Prabhu will read. 1 second. Yeah, 18, 19. This is the verse you should read. Narsimhalila Chaitanya Prabhu and family can read now. Somavamshe kalau nashte kritadau sthapayishyati bahlikat somadatto bhud bhurir bhurishravastatah shalascha shantanor asid gangayam bhishma atmavan sarvadharma vidam shreshto mahabhagavatah kavih.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
After the dynasty of the moon god comes to an end in this age of Kali, Devapi in the beginning of the next Satya Yuga will re-establish the Soma dynasty in this world. From Bandika, the brother of Santanu, came a son named Somadatta, who had 3 sons named Buri, Shrava, and Sala. From Santanu, through the womb of his wife named Ganga, came Bhishma, the exalted self-realized devotee and learned scholar.
Very good. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So about Devapi, we discussed how he is going to begin the Soma dynasty or re-establish the Soma dynasty. So we read about Devapi. Shantanu Maharaj, we should read about his descendants. But then we are going to read Bahlika. Third is Bahlika. So from Bahlika came a son named Somadatta. And Somadatta had 3 sons, Buri, Bhurishrava, and Shala. So we read about them in the battle of Kurukshetra. So Bahlika's son is Somadatta. Somadatta had 3 sons, Buri, Bhurishrava, and Shala. Buri, Bhurishrava, and Shala. Now Shantanu. Shantanu Maharaj. So Shantanu Maharaj had 2 wives at different times, not at the same time. So first, from his wife Ganga, Bhishma, the exalted self-realized devotee and learned scholar, was born, Bhishma Dev. Okay, so we are talking about the descendants in the Moon dynasty, right? Or here, this chapter is the descendants of Ajamida. So in Shantanu's line, first he had a son, Bhishma Dev, from Ganga Devi, and Bhishma Dev is the exalted self-realized devotee as well as a learned scholar. Then वीरयुथाग्रणीर्येण रामोऽपि युधितोषितः शान्तनोर्दासकन्यायां जज्ञे चित्राङ्गदः सुतः.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhishma Dev was the foremost of all warriors. When he defeated Lord Parashuram in a fight, Lord Parashuram was very satisfied with him. By its semen of Shantanu, in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of a fisherman, Chitrangada took birth. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So, Bhishma Dev was born from Ganga, Shantanu Maharaj's wife Ganga Devi. And we read that Bhishma Dev is, a great devotee. Further glorification of Bhishma Dev is he defeated his guru, military guru, Lord Parashuram, in a fight. He defeated his guru in a fight. And what type of guru? Lord Parashuram, an incarnation. That's Bhishma Dev. So very powerful, very learned, and a great devotee. So, and he was also the foremost of all warriors, that he defeated even Lord Parashuram in a fight. And Lord Parashuram, after being defeated, was very satisfied to be defeated by Bhishma Dev. Okay, so that was the descendant of Shantanu, Bhishma. Next, Shantanu had another wife. So this is after Ganga Devi left. So he had another wife called Satyavati, who was the daughter of a fisherman. And Satyavati had a son called Chitrangada. Actually, two sons, but first we are going to read about Chitrangada. Purport. Mataji or Prabhuji?
Purport. Satyavati was actually the daughter of Uparichara Vasu, by the womb of a fisherwoman known as Matsya Garbha. Later, Satyavati was raised by a fisherman. The fight between Parasurama and Bhishma Dev concerns three daughters of Kasi Raja, Ambika, Ambalika, and Amba, who were forcibly abducted by Bhishma Dev. Acting on behalf of his brother, Vichitravirya, Amba thought that Bhishma Dev would marry her and became attached to him. But Bhishma Dev refused to marry her, for he had taken the vow of Brahmacharya. Amba therefore approached Bhishma Dev's military spiritual master, Parashuram, who instructed Bhishma to marry her. Bhishma Dev refused, and therefore Parashuram fought with him to force him to accept the marriage. But Parashuram was defeated, and he was pleased with Bhishma.
Yes, thank you. So this is here it is said that Bhishma Dev defeated Parashuram. Why did he have to fight with Parashuram? So this is the background. What happened? Why Bhishma Dev had to fight with Parashuram? So in order to understand that, first of all, also, did you notice here? Satyavati is actually the daughter of Uparichara Vasu. Who is Uparichara Vasu? Uparichara Vasu is a descendant of Kuru. So she is also born in the Kuru dynasty. She is born in the Kuru dynasty. Sudhanu's descendant is Uparichara Vasu. Uparichara Vasu's descendants became, Jarasandha is also coming, Shishupal, right? Uparichara Vasu. So Uparichara Vasu's daughter, so we read that Brihadratha, right, and others. So Brihadratha was an important, headed by Brihadratha and other sons Uparichara Vasu had. And all of them became the rulers of Chediraj, it is said. So this Uparichara Vasu had a daughter from a fisherwoman. So he married a fisherwoman and he had a daughter. And that daughter was Satyavati. And Satyavati later, she was raised by a fisherman. That's how she came to be known as the daughter of a fisherman. Actually, she's the daughter of Uparichara Vasu. Interesting. And who is her mother? Satyavati's mother is Matsya Garbha. Okay. Satyavati's mother's name is Matsya Garbha. Okay. And the second part of the purport, I think everyone is familiar, how Bhishma Dev fought. So this is why Bhishma Dev fought with Parashuram. So Bhishma Dev was looking for a bride for his brother, Vichitravirya. Chitrangada had died before marriage. He fought with a Gandharva called Chitrangada. Both Chitrangadas were fighting. The Gandharva killed. After fighting for a long time, the Gandharva killed the human king, Chitrangada. So now there's only one descendant, because Bhishma Dev wouldn't marry, then how the line will continue? So therefore, Vichitravirya was the only one left, so he has to get married. So Bhishma Dev was looking for some qualified princesses who could marry Vichitravirya so that the lineage could continue. So he found that Kashiraj was performing a Swayamvara ceremony for his three daughters, Ambika, Ambalika, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. And Bhishma Dev saw that they were all qualified to be his brother's wives. So he went and he forcibly took the three princesses and came back. Ambika and Ambalika were happy to marry Vichitravirya. But Amba had fallen in love with Shalya, not Shalya, Shalva, king of Shalva. So then she said, you didn't give me a chance to explain to you. You forcibly just abducted me, but I had already given my heart to Shalva, and I was going to put my garland on Shalva's neck. He was also there. I was going to garland Shalva. He was also there in that Swayamvar, but you came and you forcibly took me away. Then Bhishma Dev said, oh, this is a big mistake has been done. With all respects, I'm going to send you back to Shalva. You can marry Shalva. But Shalva, he had actually, he felt insulted because he fought with Bhishma Dev. When Bhishma Dev was taking away the three princesses, he went after Bhishma Dev to rescue the princesses, especially, his princess or his, the lady that he wanted to marry. But he got defeated at Bhishma's hands. So he had to go back to his kingdom empty-handed. He felt very insulted and defeated. Now when Amba went back to Shalva, he felt this was a bigger insult, right, for a Kshatriya. So he said, no, you have been won by Bhishma. How can I accept you? Right? I cannot marry you now. So then she felt, she was again being rejected. She felt terrible. So she went back to Bhishma and she said, Shalva won't accept me as his wife. So, well, you kidnapped me, so you should marry me. Bhishma said, no, I didn't kidnap you for myself. I'm very sorry that this happened to you, but I'm helpless. I have already taken a vow to not marry, taken a vow that I would not marry. She said, but no one will marry me now, right? And her marrying Vichitravirya was out of question, because knowing that she had given her heart to someone who will marry her. Vedic society. If anyone would marry, that would be only Bhishma Dev, because he was the one because of whom she lost her opportunity of getting married. So she said, you must marry me. And he said, I know, I have taken a vow, I cannot marry you. Then she went to Bhishma Dev's guru, Parashuram. Actually, she went to some sages in the forest and they said that anyway, so she met Parashuram and she said, your disciple, this is what he did. Now, my life is spoiled. You please tell Bhishma to marry me. So Parashuram called Bhishma Dev and ordered him, you should marry Amba. Bhishma Dev said, but I cannot marry because I have taken a vow. But this is your guru's order. So there's one order of guru which the disciple can refuse. And that is if the guru says to marry, the disciple can say, no, Guru Maharaj, I don't want to marry. That's the only, avagya, guru avagya, which is tolerated, which is acceptable, which is not counted as an offense. Anything else, if the guru tells you to do and if you don't do, it becomes an offense to the holy name. Guru avagya is the third offense to the holy name. So anyway, Bhishma Dev said, no, I cannot marry. Then Parashuram said, you have only two options. Either you marry Amba or you fight with me. So if I don't have a choice, then I'll fight with you. He fought and he defeated Parashuram. And Parashuram was very happy to be defeated by his disciple. Actually, it's a great pride for the spiritual master, for the teacher or the father, when the son grows to be better than himself, or when the disciple becomes, the disciple outbeats, right? Disciple surpasses the guru. Then the guru feels, very happy, very proud that my student, my disciple has advanced so much, like that. Parashuram was very happy that Bhishma Dev actually defeated him. So this is the history. Why we are reading about this? Because we are reading about the descendants of Ajamida. We came to Shantanu Maharaj. Shantanu Maharaj's wife Ganga Devi gave birth to Bhishma. And we are reading about Bhishma Dev's glories, how he defeated Lord Parashuram. And even after being defeated, Parashuram was very pleased with Bhishma Dev. Next. So, Narsimha Chaitanya Prabhu. विचित्रवीर्यश्चावरजो नाम्ना चित्रांगदो हतः यस्यां पराशरात् साक्षात् अवतीर्णो हरेः कला वेदगुप्तो मुनिः कृष्णो यतोऽहम् इदमध्यगाम् हित्वा स्वशिष्यान् पैलादीन् भगवान् बादरायणः मह्यं पुत्राय शान्ताय परं गुह्यम् इदं जगौ विचित्रवीर्योऽथो वाह काशीराजसुते बलात् स्वयंवराद् उपानीते अम्बिकाम्बालिके उभे तयोरासक्तहृदयो गृहीतो यक्ष्मणामृतः. प्रभुजी.
Chitrangada, of whom Vichitravirya was the younger brother, was killed by a Gandharva who was also named Chitrangada. Satyavati, before her marriage to Shantanu, gave birth to the master authority of the Vedas, Vyasadeva, known as Krishna Dvaipayana, who was begotten by Parasaramuni. From Vyasadeva, I, Sukadeva Goswami, was born, and from him I studied this great work of literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation of Godhead Vedavyasa. Rejecting his disciples, headed by Paila, instructed Srimad Bhagavatam to me because I was free from all material desires. After Ambika and Ambalika, the two daughters of Kasi Raja, were taken away by force. Vichitravirya married them, but because he was too attached to these two wives, he had a heart attack and died of tuberculosis.
Yeah. Okay. So we read about Chitrangada already, or we discussed how Chitrangada was killed by a Gandharva Chitrangada. So Satyavati. So Shantanu Maharaj had another wife, Satyavati, who had Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada died without any children, without even getting married. Now Vichitravirya is left. Now, apart from Chitrangada and Vichitravirya, Satyavati was the mother of Vyasdev. How? Before she married, this is also another history. Parashara Muni. Parashara Muni is a great sage. Vadanti tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdite. This is said by, of course, this is a shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, but Parashara Muni says this. Comes in Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, I'll tell you that quote afterwards. But Parashar Muni is a great rishi. So once Parashar Muni saw that it was the time, the most favorable time for the appearance of an incarnation was arriving. At that time, Satyavati, who was being raised by a fisherman, she was known as the daughter of a fisherman, and her daily seva was to carry passengers across the river. So she would row the boat and take passengers across. So Parashara Muni was in her boat, and they were, she was taking him across. And then Parashara Muni saw that the time for the incarnation, the ripe time is just arriving, and Satyavati was such a qualified person. Srila Prabhupada says in a lecture, she's the mother of Vyasdev. Can you imagine? She's no ordinary lady. So, Parashara Muni told her that, you should become the mother, right? You should give birth to an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. That means you should cooperate with me in this service. Then she said, but I'm not yet married. What will the society say? That without marrying, I have a child? So Parashar Muni said, don't worry. By my mystic power, you will remain a maiden. Even though you'll give birth to a child, still you will be a maiden. Maiden or a virgin. So then Satyavati said, yes, this is a great rishi and this is a service. So on an island, right, Parashar Muni created a cloud, and on this island, Satyavati was impregnated, and she gave birth to a baby. That was Vyasdev. That's why Vyasdev's name is Dvaipayana. Dvaipayana means one who is born on the island, right? So Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. And after that, because Satyavati obliged the sage's request, he was very pleased with her, and he asked her, or he gave her a benediction. See, she was living as the daughter of a fisherman in a fisherman's house. So her body was smelling like fish. So he blessed her that she will have this bewitching, amazing fragrance emitting from her body at all times. Naturally, no need of perfumes. Her body would smell like that. Actually, it was to this bodily fragrance of Satyavati that Shantanu Maharaj got attracted, right? So this was actually a benediction given by Parashar Muni. So that is Satyavati's history. She is the mother of Vyasdev. Now, who is Vyasdev? My God. So again, we are reading about the descendants. So we have to see Shantanu Maharaj's son Bhishmadev from Ganga Devi. From Satyavati, he had Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. And Vichitravirya was married to Ambika and Ambalika. But Satyavati also had another son, not from Shantanu Maharaj. Before marrying Shantanu Maharaj, she had Vyasdev. So that's why we read this. And then from Vyasdev, again, you'll have to see the descendants. So, Vichitravirya married Ambika and Ambalika. But he was too much attached to them. That means he was enjoying a lot, right? A lot of sex life. So, as a result, he got tuberculosis. Tuberculosis. When you're very weak, right? You get that tuberculosis. And as a result of the tuberculosis, he died also. He died. He left his body without having any children. So Bhishmadev took a vow that he won't marry, so no children. Shantanu Maharaj's son Bhishma. And therefore, now he married, not therefore, he married Satyavati and he had two sons, Chitrangada, Vichitravirya. Chitrangada is also dead. Vichitravirya married Ambika and Ambalika, but without having any children, he also died. He died. Now, there is no heir to continue the lineage. So, according to Vedas, this is forbidden in Kali Yuga. But otherwise, in previous yugas, this was allowed. This is according to Shastra. Devarena Sutotpatti. That means a woman, if her husband dies without giving her any children, she can get children from her husband's brother. That's allowed. That's allowed in Shastra. But it's forbidden in Kali Yuga. It's forbidden in Kali Yuga. But in previous yugas, it was allowed. So this was in Dwapar Yuga. So because Ambika and Ambalika lost their husband without any children, husband's brother can impregnate them. Who is husband's brother now? Satyavati's son Vyasdev. So Vichitravirya is Satyavati's son and Vyasdev is also Satyavati's son. So Vyasdev was invited and we didn't come to that yet. We are going to read that later tomorrow. But what we read is Vyasdev, Satyavati's son Vyasdev had a son Sukadev Goswami. We read the other day. I think we were reading in the introduction or in the summary of the chapter that Vyasdev maintained the daughter of Jabali. Let me check. Let me first bookmark this. He had a heart attack. Wow. Vichitravirya had a heart attack and died of tuberculosis. Okay. I'll just bookmark this. And go to the beginning.
Mataji, at that time, when so many exalted rishis were there, why couldn't they save, because he's from such big dynasty, why couldn't they save Vichitravirya? Because we have been seeing they're doing so many, miracles. Why didn't they do that for Vichitravirya?
Like after he died?
No,
like
before he
back
died. Yeah, before he died, I mean, they could have healed him, no? Because he was already weak. So they could have healed him. And Vyasdev and Parashar Muni, all these exalted rishis were there. They could have done
No,
it, right?
yeah, but uh, Vyasdev Vyasdev was not in the family actually. Vyasdev was somewhere, in the Himalayas. He was performing his, tapasya. Vyasdev was not in the family. See, Vyasdev is Parashar Muni's son, and he's an incarnation of the Lord. He has a separate function, so he's not part of the uh, Kuru family as such. He's not a Kshatriya, part of the family. But this was an emergency. That's why he was called by Satyavati, because there was no other option, so she called him. So that's there. But you're saying Parashar Muni also. See,
I
what
mean,
is the
they
norm?
generally they in their family we have seen that even later on, um, what's the name? Four Kumaras come,
Mhm.
you know. So I'm saying that not you don't need to be a family member. I mean, because they are exalted kings and all. I mean, why and all the like they have all those connection with rishis and sadhus. So why didn't they come? And I mean, it's very stupid to ask me, of course, because Krishna wanted it. But then I'm saying that he could have been healed, no?
Healed. Well, it was a
Healed.
heart attack. He was. It was a heart attack, and he was married. That was the whole idea. So the purpose was, you said he could be healed so that he could actually give children, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's
Because
what
he
they
was
did.
a
They got.
king. Because he was a king, and like a king needs to be healthy to rule. So they could have healed him also, like. Of course,
Yeah,
then we
he was
wouldn't
not.
have Mahabharata.
But he was not. It's not like he was unhealthy or something. Well, he actually became sick later on. Again, because of too much indulgence, he actually became sick and he died. That's what it is said. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer why they didn't heal him.
Of course,
But
it's Krishna's will. Otherwise, we wouldn't get Gita.
but
Bhagavad Gita.
but in some places I saw Bhishma Dev was quite concerned when he saw, or Satyavati was also concerned that he was not being, like about his behavior. They were concerned, but I think it was quite unexpected that they didn't expect that he would die. If they had known, you know, but it actually came as a shock to everyone, to the wives, to the mother, to Bhishma Dev, to everyone. It came as a shock. It's not like, you know, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
He shouldn't have married. I mean, Vishmadev shouldn't have got all the three sisters. Probably that's the main problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what.
I'm just speculating. I'm just saying if there was a solution, then we wouldn't have
No,
all
it's
this.
it's nice that you think so deep, but I don't have an answer. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So I was just trying to see, but I'm pretty sure it was Jabali's daughter that Vyasdev was maintaining. Again, there's a purpose, right? Sukadev Goswami has to come. Sukadev Goswami, the exalted Sukadev. Just like Parashar Muni impregnates Satyavati to bring Vyasdev. Similarly, Vyasdev, he has Jabali's daughter as his wife, and then Sukadev Goswami comes. So, yeah, we read it now. I remember we read it when we were reading about Sukadev's daughter, Sukakanya. When we were reading there, we read about how Sukadev was born and he was in his mother's womb for 12 years. It's said in Brahmavaivarta Purana. And then
And
finally he would become a,
duplicate Sukdev also.
yeah, yeah. There we read about Jabali's daughter. So that part is mentioned here that Vyasdev had Sukadev. So Sukadev is saying, he gave birth to me, right? Sukadev Goswami. And of course, Sukadev Goswami, the original is a lifelong brahmachari, so there's no descendants after that. It ends with Sukadev Goswami. Of course, there is the duplicate or imitation Sukadev, who had a daughter. Again, that was married to King Nipa, and that's another line. But now we will read about Vyasdev impregnating Ambika and Ambalika, and then the children born, and then their descendants. That's what we are going to read next. So I will stop Srimad Bhagavatam reading here today, and I bookmarked it already. Yes, so this is what we're going to read tomorrow. Who's going to start? So we completed with Narsimha Chaitanya Prabhu's family. And Nilambari Mataji had already read yesterday. So Priyanka Haripriya Mataji will begin tomorrow. Okay. Now let me read Bhagavad Gita and Leelamrita. So we are going to start second chapter Bhagavad Gita today. We completed chapter 1, chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. Contents of the Gita summarized. Text 1. Please repeat. So if you all remember what happened by the end of chapter 1, Arjun gave reasons why he should not fight, and he is so much afflicted that he's feeling, I can't believe that simply for my enjoyment of royal happiness, I'm bent upon committing such sinful activities which is going to affect the entire society, all the ancestors, everyone is going to go to hell. I cannot believe. And then he said to Krishna, I'm not going to fight. And he just cast aside his bow and arrows and just sat down on the chariot. That was the end of chapter 1. Now this is chapter 2, the first verse. What happened after that? Please repeat. Sanjaya uvacha tam tatha kripayavistam अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणम् विषीदन्तम् इदं वाक्यम् उवाच Madhusudanah. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjun full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudan Krishna spoke the following words. Yes. So this is what happened. When Arjun said, Oh Govinda, I'm not going to fight, and he sat down on the chariot, Krishna is looking at Arjun. And what is Arjun's condition? Arjun's heart is filled with compassion for the enemy. He's feeling sorry for the enemy. Right? So, and Krishna is observing Arjun. Arjun, who is full of compassion, and because of this compassion, his mind is depressed because he's in this duality, what is the word? Duvidha in Hindi. Dilemma, yes, dilemma. Which one to do? Because if I fight, everyone it's such a sinful act. If I fought, elders will be killed, women will be polluted, Varna Sankara will be born, entire society will go to hell, ancestors will go to hell if I fought. And if I didn't fight, I'm a Kshatriya for not doing my duty. That is a sin also. What should I do? So he's depressed. What should I do? Right? On one hand, he's feeling compassion for the enemy, and he's feeling depressed also. And Krishna is observing. Seeing Arjun full of compassion, his mind depressed, and he's depressed and he's crying. His eyes full of tears out of compassion. When Krishna saw this, he began to speak to Arjun. So that is the next verse, what Krishna spoke. Let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport to this verse. Material compassion lamentation and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. So you see, in the last chapter purports, Srila Prabhupada actually glorified Arjun as a saintly person. A sadhu's heart is very soft, right? Paradukha dukhi. If he sees another person suffering, he suffers. This is a saintly person. Arjun is a saintly person. That's why he's feeling sorry, like that we read. So now, to balance that, uh, from another side, uh, like from the material side, Srila Prabhupada is explaining this type of compassion, material compassion, and lamentation and tears, they are signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self realization. That is actual compassion. Otherwise, all types of compassion without the understanding of reality is compassion in ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is real self, is self realization. The word Madhusudan, why Madhusudan word is used by Srila Vyasdev, right? Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. Mahabharata is compiled by Vyasdev. So Vyasdev is saying Madhusudan Krishna spoke the following words. Or you can say, not Vyasdev, Sanjay is narrating the whole thing, right? So Sanjay is saying, Madhusudan. Why Madhusudan? The word Madhusudan is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu. And now, so that's why his name is Madhusudan. Madhusudan means the killer of Madhu. And now Arjun is calling Krishna Madhusudan. Arjun is also calling, although we don't see that in this verse. Arjun is not talking here, right? Here Sanjay is speaking. But why Sanjay is using the word Madhusudan? Arjun is addressing Krishna as Madhusudan. So Arjun wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. So what is the demon here? The misunderstanding that Arjun had. Because of this misunderstanding, he was not able to do his duty. What is his duty? As a Kshatriya, he was supposed to fight, but he was unable to fight because he had this misunderstanding, or you can say this moha, illusion in his mind, because of which he is not able to carry out his duty. So, this illusion or this misunderstanding is the demon, and Krishna is expert in killing demons like Madhu. So, may Krishna kill this demon of illusion so that I can do my duty. So that's why Krishna is called here Madhusudan. Arjun wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. So, you remember the verse 222 we had memorized. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani. Vasamsi means dress. Jirnani means that which is worn out. What do you do when the dress is worn out? You get another dress. Similarly, this body is compared to a dress. When the body is worn out, the living entity accepts a new body, like that. So if somebody is showing compassion just for the dress, oh poor dress, right? And has no concern for the person inside, then what do you call that compassion? That compassion is compassion and ignorance. So similarly, if somebody he's only seeing the body, the person, and material designations of that body, he's not seeing the actual person, the spirit soul, and his feelings of compassion are simply external, then what do you call such compassion? Such compassion is compassion and ignorance. Huh? So compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. If a man okay, I'll just read. A man fallen in the ocean of nations cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. So the body is compared to the dress. So if a man falls in in the ocean, and if he's drowning, you want to save him. You just catch hold of the dress and you pull out the dress. Is that intelligence? The man drowns and the dress is saved, and you become happy. Oh, I have saved him. I've saved the dress. What's the use? So similarly, simply taking care of the body, giving nice food, a nice shelter, even some education, giving a job, giving a place to live, so on and so forth. These are all like saving the dress of a person. If you really have compassion and if you want to save someone, you have to save the person, the spirit soul, by awakening his Krishna consciousness. That is compassion, real compassion. That is compassion in knowledge, right? Whereas simply protecting the body is compassion and ignorance. That's the point. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Yes. So, this world we see everyone laments for the body. Body means when a person dies or when a person meets with an accident. You lament. So, who laments just for the outward dress? A Shudra laments for outward dress. That means he laments unnecessarily. It's not required there. But is Arjuna Shudra? Is he? No, he's not a Shudra. He is Dvija, learned person. He's a Kshatriya. He's from the higher class. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority, Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results and is situated in the fixed conception of real self. So, the second chapter is teaching how one can become self-realized by analytical study, or by the Jnana path. What is that? I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. The soul has no birth or death. The body is never living. Like by this analytical study, by this, how one can come to the platform of Sthita Pragya. That's being explained. And also, Karma Yoga is also explained, working without a fruitive result. Well, Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means Nishkama Karma Yoga is also explained. So then, of course, Arjun will ask further questions, right? So Nishkama Karma Yoga, first you said Jnana, analytical study. Then you are saying work without fruitive result. What is this? Tell me one thing. Then Krishna will explain. Actually, both are same, right? Nishkama Karma Yoga, first you have to do Nishkama Karma Yoga, only then you'll go to Jnana. You cannot directly jump to Jnana. You have to do Nishkama Karma Yoga first. So therefore, I was telling about Nishkama Karma Yoga. So all this will come in the second chapter. And the second chapter will lead to the third chapter based on Arjun's question. So, but what is the purpose? Self-realization. Realize that you're not this body, you're a spirit soul. So you do your duty. Don't be carried away. Don't lament for the body. That is, Shudras lament like that unnecessarily. But you're a learned person, you're an advanced person, you're a Kshatriya. This type of behavior is not befitting Arjun. So then, how Arjun can come out of this lamentation? By Krishna's instruction. So that's what we will see in this second chapter. So this is just the beginning. Krishna began.
Mataji, also in our practical life now, of course we are not in that situation of fighting, but still in our life also
we have these situations where we have this dilemma where what we will do, whether this is the right path or that is the right path. So I just wanted to, like share this point that we also face this, but in a different angle, and then we have to go to Guru and follow Guru's instruction.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bhagavad Gita was spoken for all of us. So Arjun's situation was he was actually on the battlefield, but we are also battling. Everyone, all conditioned souls are battling in this world. So then this Bhagavad Gita is not spoken for Arjun's sake only, it's for all of us. It's very much applicable to all of us. We are also going through the same, just different circumstances, but the same struggle is that everyone is going through the same struggle. Then the solution is to take Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, thank you for that, Mataji. Let's read Srila Prabhupada's Leela Amrita. Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada was emphasizing about just here, come and hear. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Srila Prabhupada was holding classes on Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada said, this is part of the lecture that he gave, right? What we read yesterday, that once you start this, even if you fall down, still there is no loss. You'll be given another chance in the next life. If you start this process of Karma Yoga, at least you'll get a human form of life. At least you'll get a human form of life. That means you'll be given an opportunity to continue. So just start it. Don't be fearful that you may not be able to complete it. If you complete it, oh, that's so wonderful. But even if you don't complete, still you're not at loss. So Srila Prabhupada was encouraging that you simply come and hear. That's all. Just come and listen. So now I'll read the next paragraph. He is talking to a crowd who are deeply set in their hip life, hippies. He knows that they can't immediately give up taking drugs, and there they sit with their common law wives. Common law wives, I don't know what that means. But their path is to play music, live with a woman, and meditate sometimes. Hippies lifestyle. And be free. After hearing his lecture, they'll stay up all night with their instruments, their women, their drugs, their interracial bohemian scene. Yet, somehow, they're drawn to Swamiji. He's got the good vibrations of the Kirtan and they want to help him out. They're glad to help because he has no one else. So Prabhupada is saying to them, that's all right. Even if you can only do a little, it will be good for you. We are all pure spirit souls, but you have forgotten. You have fallen into the cycle of birth and death. Whatever you can do toward reviving your original consciousness is good for you. There is no loss. This is encouraging, right? It doesn't mean that that's for everyone. Time, place, circumstance, and patra, right? Depending on the recipient. So their life is intoxicated, right? Illicit sex, like that. So for them, whatever little they can do, it's good for you. There is no loss. So he's encouraging them like that. The Swami's main stress is on what he calls dovetailing your consciousness with the Supreme Consciousness. Krishna is the Supreme Consciousness, and Arjun as the representative individual consciousness. So he's a representative, right? So we are all individuals. Arjun is representing each one of us. Arjun, as the representative individual consciousness, is asked to act intelligently in collaboration with the Supreme Consciousness. Then he will be free from the bondage of birth, death, old age, and disease. Okay, I'll stop here. So, what is Srila Prabhupada teaching? Work in collaboration with Krishna, then you will transcend the material world. Working in collaboration with Krishna means follow Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. So we will end here. Thank you all so much. I went over time again. sorry. Hare Krishna.
Namaste,
All of you
Mataji.
have
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
All of you
Mataji.
have a
Hare
wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.